This particular one seemed to kick off back in January from a offhand comment by a Belgian doctor in a report that's since been deleted. And then it's been spread far and wide, largely by anti-vaccine advocates, and also, interestingly, by the Russian government seems to be playing a pretty heavy role in spreading this as well. Linking the 5G network and coronavirus really comes from a kind of misunderstanding, and it's a bit of a radiation rabbit hole. You know, we know that the 5G network relies on the same kind of end of the radio spectrum that we're watching broadcast television on, or that mobile phone networks have used for years now. There is no credible evidence that these things can have any biological effect, and it comes out of a confusion that right at the other end of the electromagnetic spectrum, there are things like X-rays, for example, that can have huge biological effects. You know, it's one of the reasons we use them in cancer therapy, for example. There's a few different tropes that have sort of evolved out of this. One is that, all of the symptoms that we're seeing in people with coronavirus are caused by 5G radiation, which is obviously completely false. We have the virus isolated multiple times from different patients. We know what the genome sequence is of the virus. We can grow it in the lab. It's a real thing. That's a completely baseless one. And then it's also morphed into other kind of ideas that, coronavirus is being spread as a tactic to get people to take a vaccination that will then act as a kind of a mind control kind of thing. And so it's a really common theme that runs through the anti-vaxxer movement, is this notion of government control. People tend to gravitate towards these kind of ideas because it helps them deal with the sort of psychological stress and anxiety and fear that's going on around here. So, we shouldn't really laugh at these ideas. They come from a real place for a lot of people. But I think what we do need to look into is who's spreading them and why they're spreading them. It's unfortunately getting a lot of legs because a lot of celebrities and actors and things like that are picking up on it and really trying to spread it. It's very hard to counter because just throwing evidence in people's faces doesn't necessarily counter it. We need to come from a position of saying, we understand that these things grow out of fear, they grow out of anxiety, and they grow out of misunderstanding. And really, we have to be really careful. They can be incredibly dangerous. They can undermine trust in our public health systems, and trust in those systems is more important than ever at the moment.